not at home. How are you doing? First of all, welcome back. I've missed you guys so much. I'm so happy to be back filming some fun videos finally after completing big uni project. So I'm currently at my parents' house. So this is where I am, but this is my bookshelf, except for like all these DVDs are not mine, but yeah, this is my bookshelf where I keep a lot of my books as well. So I thought I would film in front of my bookshelf, but I'm just at my parents for a little bit. I brought Calcifer with me. He's having a really fun vacation. He loves it here. Seeing Evie has been great, and now today I'm just sitting down to film my August wrap up. So I did bring some of the books I read last month with me, but I have a few to talk to you about. So yeah, let's just go through what I read. I'm currently filming on my phone, so the quality is a little bit different. I hope that's okay. We can just have like a little chill, cozy moment. I just bought this fleece today when I went out shopping with my mom, so I'm just cozy. It's fallish out. It's a little bit breezy. Here's what I read in August. I want to start with the one that absolutely, it just destroyed me, guys. Like, I have not read a book that's done this much of an emotional meteorite impact to my soul in so long. I picked this up during a 24-hour readathon that I did with Carolyn, which is still coming, still in the works. But this one was sent to me by Yen Press, and that is Even If This Love Disappears Tonight by Misaki Ichijo. Oh man, I feel like I'm gonna get teary-eyed even just talking about it. I was not expecting really anything from this book. I had never heard of it before until Yen Press sent it to me, so thank you so much, because this ended up being a 5-star. I am like wholly obsessed with this novel. It's a light novel, and I know it's also made into a movie, although I've not been able to find an English subtitled version, but I'm still on the hunt because I would like to watch it once my heart is a little bit healed. But Even If This Love Disappears Tonight, okay, if you want to be like emotionally destroyed, you can read this book. I sobbed, have not sobbed at a book in a really long time, but this one follows two high schoolers. We have our hero, and man, he is a hero. He is a hero. Mia is a very quiet young lad. He doesn't really have too many friends, but one day his life changes because he stands up for his classmate who is being bullied. He stands up to the bully, and the bully is like, I will stop harassing this kid, this stranger that you don't even know, if you go tell this random girl that you like her. And Camilla is like, okay, like I'll do anything. If I can just help this one person, I'll go tell this girl I like her, and then I'll tell her afterwards that it was a dare. So he goes up to this girl he's never spoken to before. Her name is Hino. He's like, I like you. And she's like, okay, well, we can be boyfriend and girlfriend. And he's like, what? But she gives him 3 conditions. Don't talk to her until after school is over. Keep all communication pretty short and sparse, and don't actually fall in love with her. So like she's kind of entering into it with the understanding that the relationship isn't totally, you know, romantic or honest. They're both kind of doing it for their own whatever. He's on a dare, she has ulterior motives. And then they kind of just start talking, getting to know each other. We follow Hino's friend as well, who's a fantastic character. We follow Camilla becoming friends with the boy he saved from being bullied. He turns out to be a great character, and then they obviously start to fall in love. The problem is that Hino has created these conditions because she has suffered brain trauma, and she has memory loss. Her memory resets every single day, kind of like it's a very much a 50 First Dates kind of situation. So she keeps a binder that she looks at like every morning. It's in the synopsis that she has memory loss, so it's not a spoiler. But guys, when I say that this went places that I was not expecting, first of all, sweet, wholesome, romantic, fluffy, just like, but so wholesome, so pure, so just like that like youthful feeling of like new fresh love that like you just want to do everything for that person, sacrifice everything for that person. You become so selfless. It was so sweet, so goddamn sweet, and then it tore my little heart out. It tore my heart out, and I was not prepared like in any way, shape, or form. I was just not expecting it to hit so hard, because I think it deals really, really beautifully with themes like love, like memory. You do get both of their perspectives as well, which is really nice, and I can just not tell you how much I adored this book. It's why I wanted to talk about it first. I already want to reread it. Yeah, I would just say give it a shot if it sounds at all up your alley, because I was kind of floored. So that is Even If This Love Disappears Tonight. Still haven't recovered, like still not recovered. I just have so much love for everyone in that book. I have so much love for everyone. I love them so much and I just want them to be happy. Okay, so next up, I'm going to talk about my other 5-star read, which was a reread. But okay, here's the thing. Whenever I experience extremely large emotion, especially if that emotion has been a gift from a piece of media, particularly literature, I am always rerouted back to Rilke, like always. He's just my go-to whenever I am feeling immensely. And I think it speaks volumes about like the preceding work of literature if that piece can like push you towards something you love. Again, I was looking for comfort. I was looking for big feelings. Like I was in that place where I felt like I wanted to experience Letters to a Young Poet again. So this is a gorgeous edition. This was a gift from Michael, I believe. Thank you so much, because this edition of Letters to a Young Poet, letters composed by Rilke, the German-speaking poet of the late 19th and 20th century. He is my favorite, one of my favorite people who've ever walked the earth, really. He's certainly my favorite poet, and he's just been so influential on my life that I can't even tell you. I've made lots of videos about him, a whole video about this work in particular, but I'd never read the edition. What edition is this? This is the Liverwright edition. This one comes with the letters of the young poet. So if you don't know the story, we have this young man named Capus, and he is in Austria. He is just on his way into the army or becoming a cadet, or just like something to do with military happenings, which Rilke was also involved in. Rilke had a very hard time with. He really lost himself in like the military academy. He hated the whole shebang. So Capus is writing to him because Capus is also a poet. He initially writes Rilke with his verses being like, is my poetry good? Can I publish this? How do I tell if what I'm writing isn't hot garbage? And Rilke says, don't ask me, like don't ask anyone. You can only ask yourself. And then from there, I don't know if Rilke knew what he was doing, if he knew this was going to be one of like his most well-known work, but he pours all of his philosophy, all of his views on literature, love, solitude, art, connection, the sexes, everything into these letters. And they just contain so much of his worldview, so they are a wonder to read. They're solid advice to anyone, not just people who are writing, like literally to anyone. He touches on so many universal subjects. He does them so beautifully. He portrays everything so beautifully. He makes you want to live, but more than that, he makes you want to like live for yourself, discover yourself, go into yourself, so then you can come out of yourself with so much more. 5 stars again, and it was really nice reading Capus's letters. He's honestly a beautiful writer as well. Had never experienced his way with words. He does include a few of his poems in here too, and yeah, I think this is the book that like people most take away from my channel from what I've seen over the years. So massive thank you to those of you who have picked this up. I don't know why I'm saying thank you, but I'm just happy that you've read it, that you've experienced it. It's the one that people always message me saying like, thank you for talking about this, because it just seems like the most life-changing, and I can atone to that as well. So, or attest to that. Yeah, beautiful. And it's so wonderful because every time I read it, I've read this, I don't know, Goodreads says 3 times, but it's well over that. I come out with something new. I come out changed in a different way. It always gives me exactly what I need. And it's so nice to like see myself in these pages over the years, like the ways that I've grown, the way that I now reflect, react, take in, don't take in whatever is on these pages. So this is just a lifelong companion, basically, and this edition is beautiful. So that was my other 5-star read. Oh, nope, I'm lying. I have one more. Another reread. This has kind of been the year of rereads, and rereading is just self-care. It's just self-care to reread your favorite books. This is one of my favorite books of all time as well. I reread Icefields by Thomas Wharton. Guys, 5 stars. I annotated it this time. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. I bought this book in Banff. This book is set in Alberta, in Jasper, and man, Thomas Wharton's writing. You've probably heard me talk about this a lot recently. I would highly recommend that you read it. I would highly recommend. This is about a man who falls into a crevice in a glacier. He sees something interesting trapped in the ice while he's down there, and he becomes obsessed with the glacier. He pretty much drops everything in his life to form a relationship with the glacier. You don't just follow him though, you follow a bunch of people who return to Jasper every single year during the spring and summer, because it's pretty hard to, I guess, be there and live there during the winter, during this time period, because this is historical. So I don't want to talk too much about this. I've harped on enough in other videos, but that is Ice Fields. The prose is just literally like fresh breath. It's so gosh darn beautiful. So yeah, this book is just so me in like every single way. It's so wonderful to find books that like you just feel are yourself. So that is Ice Fields. For the Game of Tomes book club, which I host with Carolyn, I read both our picks for July and August last month. So I read The Awakening by Chopin. This is my first Chopin. I really ended up liking this. I went into this not with too many expectations, and when I first went in, I wasn't really having a good time, but as we follow the story of Edna, she is living in New Orleans with her husband, her 2 children, but she's not really living. Like, she's just going through the motions. It's very much the story of a woman coming into herself, seeing herself finally, and knowing that she has the power maybe to be seen, or at least to be seen like by herself, enact her own desires, figure out who she is, what she wants, untethered to her husband and to her children. So it's set during mostly the summer months. Really nice. Just as you like, it's really a wading out into the story. There's a lot of water imagery in here as well, but you follow Edna first, like knowing that she exists by like love and desire for someone else, because this does follow, like the back says, it follows the story of her affair. It doesn't really do too much. It's more just about Edna and her waking up and being like, what is going on? Like her ripping off all of these masks, all of these illusions that have been plastered and painted all over her life, and being like, wait a second, like wait, like literally just stop. What is going on? Why am I married? Why do I have no money? Why do I have children who aren't even really my children? They don't even belong to me. Did I even want children? Like questioning all of this stuff, while at the same time trying to eke out an existence of, or eke out, I think it's eke out an existence of her own at a time when like that was not allowed. This book apparently ruined Chopin's career, and it's really not even that scandalizing or shocking, but at the time, I guess a woman saying that she wanted to just have her own space, her own life, her own property was so terrifying that Kate got cancelled. I found it really readable. What I will say is that if you are a beginner coming to classic literature, if you're just starting your classic lit journey, I think The Awakening has very accessible language. It's not too long. I just felt like it was very easy read. She told a story very naturally. And there's a lot of beautiful summer imagery that you can really feel and see, and you see it all through Edna's eyes, who is really like a newborn. She's a newborn awakening to life and being like, what is out there for me? I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. Not like the best book I've ever read, the best classic I've ever read, certainly, but I really enjoyed my time with The Awakening. And our other book was Orlando by Virginia Woolf. Orlando, though, was almost 5 stars. I think I might have to bump it up to 5 stars, which would another 5 star. Orlando, oh my goodness. Virginia Woolf is a tricky writer. But this was so beautiful. You follow Orlando, who's a man when the book begins. He's living in Elizabethan England. He is kind of, in good standing with the Queen, literally, because Orlando comes from a very prominent, well-off family. This book dashes through the centuries all the way up until 1936, I believe, so in Virginia Woolf's own time. And Orlando at that point has become a woman. So Orlando is someone who can defy all forms of identity, really. The writing is beautiful. The story is really just about defying definition and knowing that you can be anyone, be anything, It's a great pair with The Awakening as well, because Orlando and Edna are very much searching for the same thing, searching for themselves. Orlando experiences being a man, being a woman, living in so many different times, so many different customs and cultures and clothing and language. It's so beautiful throughout it all. Orlando is, like, above everything else, a lover of nature, a lover of animals, and a writer. They struggle with creating throughout the whole novel. To me, Orlando reads, I don't know, just like someone who reads and writes, someone who is creative, who, whether or not they have the power to time travel or to inhabit a variety of different bodies and customs and clothing, like they can become different people through art. Virginia Woolf also wrote this for her friend, her lover, her confidant, her, I think just her everything, probably her soulmate a little bit. Vita Sackville West is who this book was written for, so it is just littered and has so many references to Vita's life, and it's just so beautiful. Orlando is another book that just makes you want to like live, experience. I cannot tell you how gorgeous the writing was. I wish I had my copy with me so I could like scream quotes at you, but man, I think just like before Orlando and after Orlando, you're a much different person. Orlando just like blows everything up, blows all convention and limitation away. It's just gone. You can just be while also continually searching for who you want to be. It's just, man, just some good books this month, basically. So that's Orlando. And then for the 24-hour readathon I did with Carolyn as well, I read Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. This was a gift from Carolyn. Thank you so much. I didn't like it very much. This is my second Ishiguro. I read When We Were Orphans. Loved When We Were Orphans. Never Let Me Go was not the book for me. Was definitely not the book for me. This is one that Carolyn and I both agreed. It is so hard to talk about without giving so much away, because so much of this book is like a little, it's just teasing. You go into it, you don't really understand what's going on, and throughout the whole book the answers are very slowly given to you, but like not even really. Okay, it's set in England in the 1990s, but things are much different than they actually were in the 1990s. It's a piece of speculative fiction, and it just, oh god, okay, I'm not going to say the plot at all. If you've read it, I'm just going to say how I kind of feel about it. I was bored. Number one, I was so bored. This book has a lot of arguments, bickering. We're set at a boarding school, I can say that. So you follow a group of people, prominently three of them, Kathy, Tommy, and Ruth, growing up. It was just so boring. Man, it was so boring. I didn't connect to any of the characters at all. I didn't care about them. I wasn't emotionally invested in any of them. I really could care less what happened to them. On top of that, I felt like the thing that was driving the story, like the speculative nature of the book, I wanted so much more of that. I didn't want so much like just normal everyday boarding school, growing up, coming of age vibes, although I know like kind of what the purpose is of that. Again, it's very hard to talk about, but to me, without saying anything else, I think I got the most benefit from Never Let Me Go by reading it like it was a metaphor or representation for animal abuse. Reading it through the lens of like animal consumption as well as education in general. I think this is fascinating and has fascinating things to say about the nature of education, about how we educate people, about the school system. If you read it that way, it becomes very not dystopian, but very, very disturbing, to say the least. On the whole, though, I gave it 3 stars because I like what it was trying to do, and like reading it through what I wanted to examine gave me like that 3-star like enjoyment level. But on the whole, I found it very, very dry, and it just was so not the book for me. So yeah, Carolyn and I also watched the movie, and I liked the movie even less than the novel. So it's very, very sad because this is one of Carolyn's favorite books of all time, but yeah, just did not do it for me. So I'm very curious, so curious, because I read so many reviews after I finished this book, and Carolyn and I talked about it for a very long time. What are your thoughts? And like, feel free to put spoilers in the comments, but just like put, you know, spoilers before you spoil. Okay, then I read volume 1 a new manga series, and that is Something's Wrong With Us by Natsumi Ando, I believe. Yeah, I picked this one up from Chapters because she is the creator of Kitchen Princess, and I love Kitchen Princess. This one is much more grown up, much more mature, and it is a, I guess, disturbing love story, but here's the thing. I'm really bad at just like reading volume, like even here. I have volume 1 of Blue Period. I just buy the first volume of things, and I think that's just not the way to do it with manga. I think I should like buy at least 3 of them to try and get into the story before like I just read one and then kind of throw it away or leave it on my shelf and don't get around to the next one, and then that's just not the right way to do it. Something's Wrong With Us starts with this young girl and her mother. Her mother is like a master at making traditional Japanese sweets, so she works at this really prestigious sweet shop. Her daughter lives there, like they both live there, but our girl is also friends with the young lad who is going to inherit, of course, the shop one day from like his grandfather. Unfortunately, while her mother is working there, the man of the house, I think his father, is it his father, is found dead, murdered in fact. And when the young boy gives witness, he says that he saw our protagonist's mother walking out of his father's room. She's tried for murder, she's taken away to prison, and she dies during trial because of the stress of it all. Like, I think she has a heart attack and passes away. Years later, we follow our protagonist, who is now grown up. She is working as a Japanese sweets maker. She's trying to follow in her mother's footsteps, and she gets this opportunity to enter this competition to make sweets, to become the chef for a very prestigious event. Lo and behold, the event is at the house where her mother used to work, and she has to meet the young man who ruined her life basically all of those years ago. At the same time, she receives a letter in the mail from her dead mother. I guess it was meant to be posted once our girl was all grown up, and it says, I didn't do it. It says I didn't commit the murder. So she is back at this house to figure out what's going on. At the same time, I guess they start to fall in love. I didn't get to that part yet because I've only read volume 1, but it's like something's wrong with us because he shouldn't love the girl whose mother murdered his father, and she shouldn't love the boy who put her mother in prison and made her mother consequently pass away. But the heart wants what it wants. So that is that. I give it 3 stars because I wasn't wowed by it, but I might keep going, especially for the intrigue, because I'm intrigued. And we'll see. So that is the last thing I read. Something's Wrong With Us. So that is my August wrap-up. I'm very happy to be back doing wrap-ups. Yeah, while I'm here, I might film like a little mini bookshelf tour of all my books that are in storage. Well, I have this shelf. I have another shelf in my room here. Please let me know, as usual, what was your favorite book of the month or least favorite, or if you have a recommendation for me or for anyone. If you got all the way through, leave me a little pumpkin emoji, because I think I'm ready to let summer go a little bit. The trees are changing color here now very slightly, so leave me a little pumpkin. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Happy fall if it is fall where you are, and I cannot wait to see you guys soon in my next video. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope it was relaxing. I hope you had fun. Hope you got some good recommendations. My throat is giving out because yeah, I just have not spoken this much. I need to get Carolyn back so we can just speak and speak and speak until the sun comes up. But okay, I'm gonna go. Love you guys so much. Ciao.